We're with Kelly O'Dwyer, Federal Member for Higgins. Thank you so much for having us in your office.
Oh, a great pleasure, Katrina. I'm really excited to be here with you.
What encouraged you to get into public life?
Well, look, I was interested in politics from a pretty early age, but probably for me there was a defining moment when I was in year 10. I actually met another pretty inspirational woman at that time. At school, I met the member for Muralbark, the newly elected member for Muralbark, Lorraine Elliott, who was talking about her experience as a local member. And it really struck a bit of a chord with me because my parents had gone through a pretty difficult period with their small business that they had, and that had had a very significant impact on our family. And so I thought that a public life was definitely one where you could make a difference. Although I didn't directly go down that path. I took a few deviations as a lawyer and as a policy advisor before then, but it certainly brought home to me just what you could achieve if you were committed to a life of public service.
Fantastic, and she was your mentor to start with, and so then you became a lawyer and then a policymaker. And how did you jump from that into becoming the parliamentarian you are today?
So I got involved in a voluntary capacity on the campaign for Dr Michael Wooldridge, who was then the federal member for Higgins, which is a very marginal seat, the shadow health minister, and that led to obviously a very successful outcome for him in that seat and also for us more broadly in government, and he offered me a job as a result of that. So I ended up working for him part-time while completing my university studies, then doing my articles at a national law firm, practising for a number of years, and then I was offered the opportunity to work for the Federal Treasurer. He was looking for a policy advisor who had the experience that I had in mergers and acquisitions and somebody who had a bit of a political background as well. So I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with Peter Costello.
Volunteering was your sort of entree into politics, would you say? And do you think that's the best way for women who want to get into politics to start?
Look, I think it's a great way to get involved in politics. Certainly in my experience, it was through volunteering, through being active in university campaigns that I got particularly engaged, and I got an opportunity to meet with a whole variety of different people. I think it's a great opportunity. I do think that in life, if you follow your passions, whether it's politics or whatever it might be, you tend to do it really well, and you tend to then be given lots of other opportunities that you can pursue as a result of that. So I would certainly recommend volunteering as a way to pursue that.
What's the best thing about being a parliamentarian?
Look, it's an opportunity for me to be able to, I think, engage with some of the big issues on the national stage, some of the challenges that are going to face us in the future, not only today but in years to come. And I see that as a tremendous privilege. I'm one of, obviously, of only 150 in the House of Representatives. It is a tremendous responsibility as I see it, and I'd like to think that the values that shaped me in growing up are the values that I can bring to the job and that can make a difference, hopefully, in the lives of Australians in the future in a positive way.
Fantastic. Well, there's less than 30% women in all parliaments around Australia. How do you think that can change and we can encourage more women to become parliamentarians or in public office and life and make it more even, perhaps?
Well, I'd like to see more women in Parliament and, you know, on all sides of politics. You know, we're more than 50% of the population, and I'd like to see that reflected in the nation's Parliament. I'd also like to see better reflected different ages as well in the Parliament. I'm very fortunate that I was elected at the age of 32. It's been sort of 3 years. It's gone very quickly, I've got to tell you. And one of the things I think that we can do to encourage more young women is to expose them to what it would be like to have a life in the public eye. I think a lot of women, though, are probably a little bit put off by perhaps the rough and tumble of political life, and probably more importantly the intrusion that it does have into your personal life. You find that this is a 24/7 job, 7 days a week. There isn't one day where I'm not out and about in the electorate speaking with people, something that I love, but it's also an element that I think some people may find a little bit difficult and challenging, particularly if they're balancing family commitments. But that's not to say it can't be done. I think it can be done, and I'd like to see more role models in the Parliament who are able to do just that so that they can encourage others.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, great pleasure.
Your inspiration. Thank you very much.
Oh no, thank you very much, Katrina.